This is Justin.
And this is Haley, and you're listening to The Price of Avocado Toast.
We're a married millennial couple wanting to normalize conversations about money. We want to hear about your highs and your lows,
The do's and the don'ts on your path towards financial freedom. Hi Toasties, welcome to The Price of Avocado Toast.
Whether you're a first-time listener or you've been following us from the start of this thing, we're so glad to have this conversation with you today.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. The season 2 kickoff went great. I was really happy with the episode last week.
Yeah, it went really well. And if you are new here, welcome. We hope you come back next week. But we hope you enjoy this episode because it's going to be so fun. Yeah!
Yeah, woo! I'm just glad to be back podcasting. Like I said, last week was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed getting back to our fun hobby together.
It was fun. Okay, let's cheers.
Okay, cheers. Ready?
I'm making this a thing.
I like it.
Okay,
it's,
ready to go.
It's a fun thing. It's a fun little addition to season 2. You can tell that you're clearly not podcasting pregnant.
Very true. I'm not podcasting pregnant. I can finally breathe. We're good. I don't have to spend 3 hours editing out my huffing and puffing. And I don't have to... Yeah, I drank wine secretly in the beginning of season 1.
Yes.
This is not a secret. We are who we are.
Woo.
We like wine.
The podcast was born in a night where we had too much wine and we're like, we should start a podcast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just on brand, I think.
It's very on brand. We are who we are. We are who we are. We're dancing. Isn't that a song?
I don't know.
We're dancing like we're never mind. Okay. Anywho, today's episode is all about, drumroll please, sinking funds.
Sinking funds. So
And
important.
I'm going to interrupt you. I had no idea what this was. When did you find out what sinking funds were?
Jeez. Well, our debt-free journey started in November of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I think I found out probably like November or December.
Like when we were
Like
listening?
right when it was like, hey, this is good financial literacy. Like that's when I found out what it was.
If you're new here, we started our journey with listening to the Dave Ramsey podcast and listening to his books. That was great and all. It gave us a nice kickstart, but he's not the most friendly, cool person, so we don't really follow him anymore. However, that was when I heard the word too.
Yeah.
And I thought for the longest time that was a Dave Ramsey term.
No.
But it's
just
totally
like a general
not.
Financial practice. Yeah.
I mean, clearly I had no idea about
Yeah.
finance. But I had no idea that was a thing. And so, good to know. So what is a sinking fund? How would you define it?
Yeah. So a sinking fund is basically a fund or a bucket or an account or even an envelope that you are stockpiling money in for an expense that comes up maybe once a year or on a long-term basis that you can budget out monthly so that you're not faced with that payment all in one lump sum.
Okay, so the biggest one that I always think of is when we first bought our house, the April home warranty thing would come and it would be a $500 bill due in April. And hello, if you haven't planned for that, that's a shocker.
Yeah.
And that can really, I mean, if you don't have that money, that could put you into debt. And so that is the first thing that I always think of for a sinking fund.
Yeah, and that's a great example. Again, it comes up once a year.
Mm-hmm.
You can budget it into the calendar month so that April payment has been taken care of from May to April of the last year, and it makes it a little bit easier. Some other common sinking funds obviously are going to be things like Christmas. They're going to be things maybe like a car registration that's a little bit bigger. They may be something like a home renovation project you want to do. There's a lot of different things you can do with sinking funds. And one of the really cool things is they're not set in stone. Sinking funds are literally just another offshoot of personal finance. So you could have a sinking fund that is, I don't know, the trip to Legoland with your kids. Or you could have the sinking fund that is the go-kart you want to purchase because you like go-kart racing on your weekends. There's no limit to what a sinking fund could be.
And I think when I first thought of sinking funds, I thought big, giant umbrella things like vacations or down payment, emergency fund. But you can take that and break it into something so specific. If you want to get engaged, you could make a sinking fund for the engagement ring for your partner.
That's a great idea.
If you want to go on a vacation and 6 months in advance or a year in advance, you can have that be your, I don't know, July 2022 debt-free Cancun trip.
I feel like you're speaking from future personal experience.
I am, because it's happening.
Oh, good, good.
So that's one that we've been thinking of. But anyway, I want to go over ours because we have some specific ones. And then I want to kind of talk behind why we chose these names, how much we put in them, and kind of our thought process behind all this.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I think it's important that we preface all of this with saying if you're unsure of what some sinking funds in your life could look like, reach out to us. Message us on Instagram or on Twitter. Give us a shout, and we'd be glad to help because it's taken us some time to nail these things down and really think about what we face in life and what comes up. Because the first time we did our sinking funds, there was only a couple. And then we'd get that bill, and you're like, oh, shoot, we knew that this was going to come around. We knew that we had to pay this, or we knew that this comes up, but we didn't set a sinking fund for it. So we've got to pay it out of maybe our emergency fund or pay it out of some other line items in the budget. But then next month we need to start budgeting it in. And the really cool thing, again, let's say that you have, a $120 bucket for some random sinking fund. Let's say it's your car registration. That's $120 and you have to pay it every June. Well, you can stash away just $10 a month out of your budget into that sinking fund and take care of it the following year. So
then it's done.
It's done. There's no limit to these things. It can be as small or as big as you want, but it does take some time to practice these and get them set for what your life looks like. So if you're unsure, please don't hesitate to reach out because we're going to give you our list, but it may not be your list. It may be, a close relative, but if you need help, we're here for you.
And these were the things, like you said, it took us a while to kind of come up with all of these. But these were the things that put us into debt. These were the things that put us further into debt.
Yes.
And these were the things we would just charge to a credit card when we already had no money and we were already down. So that's how we created these funds. So also, if you're brand new here, the reason we had so much money, the end of last season, we ended up selling our house, which was like the ultimate sacrifice we ever did for our debt-free journey. But we sold our house and we moved. So with the house, we had some proceeds. We had, by the end of everything being said and done, paying out everybody, paying off the rest of the mortgage, we walked with $207,000 and some change about that.
Yeah.
And so we didn't save all this money. This money came from our house. So that definitely makes our situation a whole lot easier than a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't want people to think that we just were able to save up over $200,000 for all of these buckets. No, we made a sacrifice and sold our home to take care of this stuff.
And that being said, we could have left a lot of these empty and started, for example, we could have left all of the sinking funds empty and just put all of our money in our emergency fund or put all of our money in the student loan fund or whatever. But we were trying to think ahead of how we could sinking fund proof our future. Now that we don't have any debts, we wanted to make sure things were set aside in advance. So you could do any approach. If you happen to get a large inheritance or sell your house or something like that and you had a bunch of money, there are many ways you could have done this. This is just our journey. This is not really advice. This is just what we did.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you start us off with the most important sinking fund we have?
Yeah, so our most important sinking fund, you guys, is our emergency fund. And we've talked about this before in the past in season 1, but our emergency fund is $20,000. We believe that we could realistically, at our current, budget, live off of $5,000 a month. And that would give us a 4-month cushion. We're both teachers, so 4 months is like an extended summer. We have June, July, August usually off as teachers. So that 4-month cushion would give us an opportunity to find a job or maybe do whatever we need to catch up on some things. So $20,000 was a nice, big, even number for us to land on for our emergency fund. So that is bucket number 1 in our sinking funds, is a fully funded $20,000 emergency fund.
I'm actually going to rewind real fast so people know where we're going with our numbers. We chose to use Ally for our high yield savings account, and we have 11 there's 10. There's 10 buckets that we're going to be going over. So bucket 1 is the emergency fund. Bucket 2 is our student loans fund. Now, this is not really a fund. It's just separating the money and putting it in one separate place for our student loans for when we do pay on them.
Mhm.
And if they keep pushing back student loans, our money is going to sit right here.
Yes, but we don't want that money mixing with any other funds. So
No.
we put it outside in a totally different fund so that we know when it's time to pay those student loans, we can just hit pay. And I think we said we're going to do an episode
Yeah.
and pay them live in an episode. That'd be
Yes.
fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's going to happen.
Cool.
Whenever that is.
I love that. All right, so there's the first two buckets, the emergency fund and the student loans. Our third bucket is a little interesting. It's actually a vacation fund bucket. Now, we just started it off by putting $1,000 into our vacation fund. We will need a little bit more, but again, we have made every money mistake in the world, and one of those mistakes was putting money in a timeshare. So we do have vacation points in Mexico that we're planning to use next year. So we have $1,000 in there. We're going to need to make sure that we cover airfare and food while we're there, and accommodations are already obviously taken care of because of the timeshare. So we just put $1,000 in there, and we're going to be budgeting more throughout the winter time to get there. But that was what we decided to take from the home proceeds and put into our vacations sinking fund.
And that was a really important one for us because
That was.
I felt like we went through this big giant transformation, and I don't want to say we deserve a vacation because we don't deserve a vacation, but I really wanted a vacation.
Yeah.
And I still want it, and it's going to happen. So because that's a priority for us, that's why we put our money there.
Yeah, for sure. And, we went back and forth as to, should we get rid of the timeshare? Should we keep it? This or that. The type of travelers that we are, well, I shouldn't say that. You're a great traveler. I've yet to explore the world as I should. But I really enjoy kind of just going to a resort, laying by the pool, enjoying drinks and food. And so I wanted to keep the timeshare because it's something that I'm really interested in and using it. And you were all for that. And we had a great time when we went on our honeymoon. So it was low cost enough for us to decide to at least keep it for a few years. So we did pay it off. And that's where we're planning to spend our vacation. So I'm excited to use it.
It'll be fun. I'm glad it's paid off. It's not really dangling over our head as a big epic mistake anymore. I mean, having put all that money into it is a mistake, but it's done. It's said and done. It's paid, so now we get to actually go vacay.
Love it.
Woo! Okay. Sinking fund number 4. This is a mixed sinking fund. We have it titled as car maintenance and new car. So those are two different things. You could totally have car maintenance as one and then a new car fund as its own sinking fund. But we only have room for 10 here with Ally because we use them. So we just combine them together. And we put $2,000 in that sinking fund. And that's just kind of a number that we're like, I don't know. If car maintenance comes up, it could be 500, it could be 3,000. So we just settled on $2,000 for our baseline car maintenance number. Anything that would exceed $2,000 would come from our emergency fund. Now, the new car portion is what we're going to start putting money in moving forward. Justin has this little, is it a Civic?
It's a Civic.
It's a Civic
hybrid.
Where we live is, it can snow and it's windy roads and the highways are kind of dangerous. So he wants to get a smaller SUV eventually. So yeah, we have a little fund specifically for that whenever that is. It might be next year, might be 5 years, might be tomorrow.
Yeah, who knows? I would say if I could just give the listeners a word of advice, I think car maintenance is probably one of the most important sinking funds.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with wheels is going to break down. Anything with an engine is going to break down.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, a motorcycle, a trailer, a car, whatever it is. Really, it's just a matter of time. You're going to need tires. You're going to need, something's going to go wrong with your radiator or like us, we had something go wrong with our AC motor unit. Like, things are going to go wrong on vehicles, and you want to have that money there to take care of it when you need. So I really want to stress that car maintenance and upkeep of vehicles is real, real important. This is probably one of the biggest ones, I think.
And I when we were discussing these numbers, I originally thought that $5,000 was a better number, but we can always go up. We
Yep.
started with $2,000, and now monthly we can put $50 or $100 or whatever into the fund until we feel like it is comfortable. Now, if we all of a sudden need 4 new tires on our Suburban and it's $800, we would take the money, pay for it, and then that next month we'd start rebuilding that sinking fund to where it was something that we thought was comfortable.
Yeah, start putting it back into the budget. And that's the beautiful thing about sinking funds. You have the money when you need it,
Yep.
and then the very next month, you start to replenish that money. But rather than putting yourself in a bad situation, you're ahead of the curve, and then you have some time to take care of it afterwards. Yeah, very, very true. So the next sinking fund, you guys, is really important if you've got animals. You've got to have a sinking fund that is vet visits. Now, some people like to use dog insurance, cat insurance. I'm sure there's other pet insurances out there as well.
I think it's just pet insurance.
Well, I don't know, dog or insurance for their dog or their cat or whatever pet, right? I don't know. Pet insurance. Sure, your bearded dragon gets sick. You need to take care of him. But, sometimes that insurance is pretty expensive. And you don't always get the best bang for your buck, I guess, out of it. So we decided to just have a vet sinking fund that is $1,000. Now, if something happens to our dogs, heaven forbid, we want to be able to take care of them. And even above $1,000, we are willing to spend money to take care of our dogs. We really love our animals, and we want to make sure they're okay. So it's not like if the vet bill is over $1,000, our dogs are like SOL. We're going to be taking care of them. We're going to make sure that we pull money from other places. But $1,000 is a really good, clean number. And we found that most of the things that our dogs might need that are more serious than like a shot or like some kind of booster or checkup is usually around $400 to $500.
Right.
So this gives us a pretty good cushion at any given point to replenish it fast enough before the next dog might need it.
And this does not include flea, tick, heartworm. That is separate.
Great point. That's a monthly necessity.
Right.
That's every single month you need to be giving your dogs flea and tick medicine and heartworm medicine. So we just have that in our actual budget. That's not a sinking fund.
Right.
That's
This
a great
is
point.
Just for, I don't know, our dog just had a really bad hot spot and we had to take him to the vet, and then it turned out he had a hot spot and then he had an infection on his nose because he got bit by something, and it was it was like
$400?
Yeah.
$300, $400? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So that's where we came up with that number.
Yeah.
Our next one is a goofy one that we've been trying to figure out, but we just titled it medical and dental expenses. Now, we have medical insurance and we have dental insurance. So what would fall under those categories would be anything that wasn't covered by the insurance. For example, my hearing aids. Those would go in that category. If you had to get a root canal or your wisdom teeth pulled and it wasn't entirely covered by the dental insurance, that would go under that category.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
I was just going to repeat that. Yeah, that recently I had to have some cavities retaken care of because the silver that they used was not great, and the doctor wanted to use the porcelain instead. And dental insurance took care of most of it. I think the bill was like $120 or something like that afterwards. So we just have a small sinking fund there if something comes up. And now we have kids, and it's important that we make sure that medical and dental stuff is taken care of beyond just health insurance if needed.
And we only put $500 in this sinking fund because we have medical and dental insurance. Really, the bills that come are not going to be that large.
And they're not going to catch us off guard.
Right. So that is the number we came up with, and that's kind of why. Now, if we had a higher deductible insurance plan where you had to pay a certain amount of money every year, we would up this. But so we're just starting with 500. We can always add to it.
Yeah, awesome. So let's just recap so far the 6 sinking funds that we have. The first one is our fully funded 4-month emergency fund at $20,000.
The second one is our student loans sinking fund. And I don't think I said this number earlier, so I'll say it now. It is $90,447.54. And I can't wait to pay that off.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Sinking fund number 3 is our vacation fund that is funded right now at $1,000.
Number 4 is our car maintenance and new car fund at $2,000.
Number 5 is the vet visits fund at $1,000.
And number 6 is medical and dental expenses at $500.
All right, so there you go. Those are the 6 sinking funds that we've got started. We've got just a few more to go over with you, and these are a little bit more interesting, so I wanted to give a quick pause before we continue. So this next one, number 7, is holidays. And I always forget which holidays exactly we've allowed to be in this sinking fund. So the sinking fund's at $500. Let me check and see, honey. You can check and see if I got this right. So I know it's Mother's Day and Father's Day are definitely in there.
Bingo.
Birthdays are in there.
Yes.
Is anniversary in that?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's it.
And that's it. There you go.
And that's it.
Perfect.
Good job. High five.
Woo.
Okay, disclaimer. We put $500 in holidays specifically for our anniversary this year.
Yes. That number might change. We obviously now have 2 daughters, so we like to spoil them. We're pretty chill when it comes to like anniversary gift and like Mother's Day and Father's Day gifts, but like anniversary stuff, we really like to enjoy and experience together.
Right. But even if it, like, going out to dinner, to a nice dinner can be pretty expensive. So, not $500 worth, but we wanted to maybe like go get couples massages, and then I don't know. We'll let you know in September what we decide to do with that money. But we put $500 aside for that to figure it out. Our birthdays are in September and October, and we're just gonna budget those in this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't go crazy. We usually are pretty basic with our birthdays.
We're pretty
anyway.
low maintenance too.
Yeah.
Like we don't really require much, to make one another happy.
Yeah.
You're easy, honey. You're easy to please.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
You're easy
I
to
shouldn't
please, too.
say you're easy. You're low maintenance. Sorry, that sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, this is a little like controversial. Some people may not agree with this, but you know what? This is our budget, so this is what we came up with. So this is our supplemental income sinking fund, and we have $12,590 in this fund, and we actually took some money from this. It was a little higher. We used some this month. And I am currently not working. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom. I am in the process of building my financial coaching business, but I haven't made $1 from that yet. We don't make $1 from this podcast either. So I am staying home. That was part of the agreement with selling the house.
Yeah.
We were going to have a little extra money to at least keep me home with the girls until January.
Well, I think that's something that's really interesting too. We live in not quite the Bay Area. We live in Gold Country now, but
we're definitely not in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
now. We're in Northern California.
We're from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So our wages though didn't really change when we moved here. Like my salary schedule is still roughly the same. And so if you were to teach as well, and we put our girls in daycare, we'd still probably have to pull money out from somewhere to make up the difference because daycare is that expensive and teachers are paid so little.
I think I would stop getting my eyelashes done and we would break even. It would be very even.
Oh, I think that's very generous. I don't know if that's the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to crunch the numbers. We haven't had to put our daughters into daycare, but then again, we're spending money from our house to keep me home, and that's just the trade-off we've decided.
That's a value that we have.
Exactly. We think that's important, and until I get my coaching business up and running, this is our plan.
Yeah.
And if the coaching business gets to be enough money, then I'll be able to stay home a little longer. If not, then I will go back to work as soon as we need to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice, the ball is in our court with deciding what we want to do with me going back. I can go back any day. I could go get a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with that. And I know not everyone's going to agree with using money from selling our house to just like spend. But we blew $600,000. So I think this is fine.
Yeah. I mean, I would offer
it means
anybody,
something.
You're welcome to come up and see if you can pay for daycare for my children on the 2 salaries that we would have because it ain't much.
Yeah.
But
that's okay.
it is what it is. I mean, we're early in our teaching careers. Teachers don't make great money, but as you get higher in the salary schedule, you do make enough, to put children into daycare and stuff. But when you're both early teachers, like I'm going on to step 3, you would only be on step 2 because of maternity leave. So that's not a ton of experience in there, and it would be really hard to make that money. So
totally. We also have 2 kids that are not potty trained, so daycare would have cost more money.
Yep, exactly. So this is the trade-off, and this is the value system that we have with our girls getting to stay home with you with their mom rather than daycare or a nanny or something like that.
And there's no shame if anybody does that.
Yeah.
This is just the choice that we've decided.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it's unfortunate that, money gets in the way of people being able to do that stuff and have that choice sometimes.
yeah, I've shared on the I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast or just on Instagram. I can't totally remember. But one of my biggest goals financially is to be in a place where we can have as many children as we want and not have to worry about the money of the daycare part.
Yeah.
We went and had our first 2 kids really close in age, and we planned that, and that worked out great for us. But if we don't get our money in a certain place, we're going to have to wait several years for our 3rd kid. Or if we had any more kids, we'd have to wait until someone was out of daycare so we don't have 3 kids in daycare.
Yeah.
So I want to be in a place where we are secure enough where we can make that choice, whether it means to keep me home working remotely from home or I go back to work and we're able to afford the daycare.
Yeah.
I don't want the money to be a hindrance on whether or not we have more children. And I know so many women that are in that spot where they just simply cannot afford to have another child, at least not right now. And they have to wait, and they have to have a 5-year age gap between their children because they can't afford it. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people have to be in that spot. But that's my goal. I want to be in that spot.
I like that. That's a good goal.
Thanks.
Building our beautiful family is always a cool goal with me.
Well, I like our kids.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip this next one, honey, because I think it's important that we talk a little bit more about that. So I'm going to go to the bucket that's right above it.
Okay.
And our next sinking fund, you guys, this is number 9, right? This would be number 9.
Yep.
Is Christmas. Whatever, holiday you choose to celebrate, fantastic. We celebrate Christmas, so we know that Christmas comes December 25th every single year. We like to spoil Calliope last year and do some nice gestures for one another. Now we have 2 kids, so that's going to be a little bit more. So we have $1,000 in our Christmas sinking fund, and we're really excited to kind of go all out this year and really enjoy Christmas. And one of the things that I was thinking about too, we had an episode in season 1 where we talked about giving, and that's a big thing around Christmas time for us too. Is we like to do some type of giving, whether it's grab a star off of a tree and give to those that are less fortunate, or when my brother and I got the lawsuit funds, we went to the day laborers section of town, and we just started handing out $50 bills to some of the day laborers because those guys work incredibly hard. I should say those men and women work incredibly hard, and it was just really cool to be able to help them out in the holiday season. So that I think is also going to be part of our Christmas sinking fund this year, but it's at $1,000, so we can really go all out.
When I told you how much money was in that, we decided how much money to put in this a while ago, and you were like, "Hey, what's in this in all the funds?" And I said $1,000, and your mouth dropped. You were like, "We're spending $1,000 this year on Christmas. Let's go!" We've been so minimal while we've been trying to get out of debt.
Yeah,
No. It's been $100 for you, $100 for me.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And I think we spent $150 on Calliope.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm excited. I think we'll have fun. That's not just for our little family of 4 either, which is really cool.
For relatives and stuff too. To just send them nice gestures, to get our Christmas cards done. We
have not had money to buy anyone anything forever. We haven't bought our parents or our siblings Christmas gifts in our whole relationship. So that's really cool to even just have extra money to just buy little things for our nieces.
Yeah.
How cool.
My brother and his wife do a great job of gifting.
They're the best gifters.
The best. And I don't know if they listen to the podcast because they're weird like that. But they do a great job of gifting and doing sweet things for Calliope and obviously now Kennedy. So I'm really excited to maybe be able to do something for them.
Yeah.
And their daughter. Yeah.
So excited.
That's cool. Okay, so we've got numbers 1 through 9 of sinking funds done. Do you want to talk about the big one there? Or do you want to talk about that weird top one?
Well, I'll talk about the big one.
Okay, big one. Sinking fund number 10 that actually has money in it.
Sinking fund number 10 is not like the most important one, but it really should have been like at the bottom, but whatever. I'm just looking at the screenshot from my phone, and it is our down payment for our next house. And we set aside $50,000 for that. Now that is not nearly enough. We're going to have to at least double that. But that's a huge start.
Huge.
So that means we have a $20,000 emergency fund, $90,000 to throw at our student loans, and we have the $50,000 down payment, which is really cool. So all the rest of these sinking funds were just kind of like things that we could fill. Now, we could have put more money in our down payment or put more money in the emergency fund and left Christmas and supplemental income and vet visits and cars and vacations empty, but we chose not to do that because we wanted to just fill things up and start full. And then from here, we'll pull as we need, and then we'll replenish as we need. We are really starting with a clean, fresh start after selling our house, and that was huge for us in kind of deciding whether or not to sell our house. We had to really weigh the pros and cons, and funding all of these things was huge. Having them set aside and named, ready to go.
Yeah, and the cool thing about LA is it is a high yield savings account. So while we're not making a ton of money on it,
I mean, we're making zero. It's like 0.5%. But
yeah, but 0.5 is better than like the
0.04
or whatever.
bank.
Yeah. Like, I mean, so 0.5 isn't terrible, right? Like, it's something each year, maybe a couple $100, and that's cool. That helps with something like vet visits.
Totally.
That helps with something like Christmas. So that's a cool thing, and that's cool that Ally does that. But I'm excited that we have a little something left over for a down payment after taking care of all of our loans and our emergency fund and everything, because it really gives us that like carrot at the end of the stick to keep chasing, to live intentionally and frugally so that we can add more to that so that we can get into a home that we love.
And having that specific number now and making all the mistakes that we made buying our house and selling our house, I see clearly that it's going to be at least 3 years till we buy another house. Like, I can see the math doesn't make sense any sooner than that.
Yeah.
So, although I'm on Zillow all the time just for my own Nosey Nancy self, I can clearly see that it's going to be some time, and that's okay, and I'm okay with that.
Same. And that's, part of that mindset shift. Of like, I desire these things, but I don't deserve them right now.
Right.
I don't, what I mean? Like, I'm working hard to get there, and we'll get there one day.
And right now, our priority is not buying another house.
Yeah.
Our priority is, we're putting $12,000 that could have been in our down payment fund towards keeping me home. Clearly, that's our priority right now.
Yeah.
And that's the choice that we've made, and I'm content with that.
I am too. Our priority is our family right now and our girls.
So. And it's going to be like that for a while.
Yeah.
So,
and that's cool.
We're just kind of shifting. Okay, so this next one is it's an empty core savings account, and basically you open the account with Ally and you have your core savings account, and then from that savings account you can have 10 little sub accounts. So you can kind of have 11 accounts divided up. The core savings, I'm not sure if you can change the name of it, but I'm going to post this onto Instagram so you can see it. We have them named so specifically. It's not 1, 2, 3, all the way through 10. It is emergency fund, student loans, supplemental income, Christmas, whatever. We have it named for that specific thing. Now, if you have PS4, Cancun trip, I don't know, wine shipment, whatever your things are, you can name those, which is so cool. Travis Shelton from Meaning Over Money, on his podcast, he had mentioned that it makes you more intentional when you have a name to the savings account. Not just some big giant lump sum. We don't have $200,000 in a big account. That would be way too easy to be like, oh, we have all this money. No, we don't have, none of this is getting spent on anything other than what it's labeled for.
Yeah.
And to see it so clearly, we're not going to tap into the $90,000 for the student loans, or we're not going to tap into the down payment. It's going to stay there until needed, which I think is so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and run back one more time the 10 sinking funds that we have in our Ally account. So number 1 was our $20,000 fully funded emergency fund.
Number 2, we have $90,000 and some change for student loans.
Number 3 is our $1,000 vacation fund for Cancun next year.
Number 4 is $2,000 for car maintenance and a new car eventually.
Number 5 are the vet visit costs for our 3 pups.
Number 6 is medical and dental expenses for $500.
We've got a $500 holiday budget for our fun anniversary this year.
We have supplemental income. We have $12,590 set aside there.
We have $1,000 in bucket number 9 to have a bougie Christmas.
Bougie Christmas. And our last one, sinking fund number 10, is our next down payment for our house, our forever home. We have $50,000 set aside for that. And if you are a Nosey Nancy who just added all that up, that does not equal $207,000, which was the end proceeds. So we did tie up some loose ends and buy some things for this new house. I bought my financial coaching course. There were some things that we bought.
We paid off the timeshare.
Yeah.
We paid the deposit and first month's rent on the place. So there's a lot of things we had to take care of.
Yeah. So things were taken care of, and then we stashed this all aside. I like Ally. It's really simple. I know some people that use other high-yield savings accounts. I like the user-friendliness of this account. We did have some issues with verifying your identity when we first tried to open it. So I just recommend, if you are trying to open a high-yield savings account with Ally, just call them. Don't do it online because, I don't know, they might not know you're real.
Yeah, and their service was pretty good. I liked it over the phone. They did a good job.
It was really good.
So just a reminder about these sinking funds. You don't have to go 10 buckets. It doesn't have to be all out. You can start with just one because that's getting you on the right track to budgeting. And if you need any help at all, don't hesitate to reach out to us on Instagram. And I think it's kind of good if people reach out to you on Instagram because that kind of ties into the next point now that we're wrapping up sinking funds.
So first and foremost, please make sure you are following us on Instagram at The Price of Avocado Toast. But I am looking for a few of you to reach out. So I am looking for 3 to 5 millennial women who are seeking to live a debt-free life so that you can do whatever you want with your money when you want without having to stress over money. You are tired of second-guessing every purchase and looking at your bank account to make sure you have enough money to see if the check clears. You want to have the best of both worlds, financial freedom and being able to enjoy your life without having to worry about money. And I want to help you find that. So if this sounds like this is you, I would love to get your support in launching my financial coaching business. So in exchange for a minimal cost, I would love to work with you on your financial journey. And you would give me honest feedback, and we would have some hard conversations about what I can do to become a better coach for the next person. So if you are interested in working with a financial coach, or you've ever thought of it, but you're not totally sure about the cost, this would be a great opportunity. It would benefit the both of us, and we can work together as a team.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I've said, if you could find a way to work with clients before the business is fully ready to go live and offer them your service at a discounted rate, and they can offer you valuable feedback so that you can grow as a coach and do better, then it's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really going for. I want to grow. Yeah. And the only way I can grow is to get started.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And it's going to help, I think, people, again, like you said, people who are maybe hesitant because financial coaching might be, outside of their budget, or they're unsure of even how to start a budget, and you can provide that service at a lower rate so that they can see how it works and hopefully be on their path towards financial freedom and setting up their own sinking funds in their family.
Yes, you can have fun sinking funds too and have a bougie Christmas. You can have it all.
Yes, love it. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Price of Avocado Toast. As always, we are so thankful to have had this conversation with you, and we're so grateful to be part of this community. Happy budgeting.
You've got this, Toasties.
Thanks for listening to The Price of Avocado Toast. If you vibed with this episode, share it with a friend that you're comfortable having money talks with. And if you don't mind, we'd love if you could rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you're in need of my support as a financial coach, message me on Instagram. I'd love to help in any way that I can. Until next time.